Hello, a little bit about me and my story. I'm 38 from the UK, never married, no children, so I guess I'm to be counted amongst the fortunate few. I've had a couple of relationships, the second of which lasted around 6 years, more on which later. I came across Mgtow a few years ago, and in this time, I've devoured many a YouTube video from the likes of Stardust and Spetsnaz, and come to rely on them for my daily dose of red pills, as well as various other resources. I was a painfully shy kid and grew into a pretty introverted, quiet adult. Looking back, I think I always realised I felt a little differently than most people around me, like I didn't fit in somehow, which I now know is possibly the best route to be taking, my own. I saw my mother and father's relationship as highly volatile and prone to bursts of emotion and rage, and vowed I would never be that way when I grew up. I had my own passions and interests and furthered them as I grew older. Of course, biology and hormones factored into things, but due to my reticent nature, looks, lack of bravado, whatever, female attention was a non-starter. This continued through my late teens and early 20s, by which time I started to have the odd encounter with the opposite sex, with my now slightly comical awkwardness putting the brakes on anything of any consequence happening. Here's where I think I must have taken my eye off the Mgtow ball, per se. Yes, this was way before going my own way was even conceived of in my mind. I now know that I had been living the right way throughout my 20s, but in hindsight needed to be burned by the fires of a hypergamy to fully realise my own potential and how it could all be flushed down the toilet with one or two simple errors in judgment. I may expand on my relationship experiences at a later time, but to keep the length of this intro down, first real girlfriend at 29, blue pill to the max, was basically taken for a gigantic ride, chewed up and spit out. Second girlfriend was a long-term one, my unicorn, so to speak. All was really good for a long while, till the cracks began to appear. Helped her through very tough times, to the extent of carrying out DIY renovations while we were strictly on a break. Was eventually cast aside late last year, when a better gravy train had been thoroughly tested and approved to replace me. She said it just happened, in direct contradiction to things that had been said before. I swallowed it all like a good little blue pill boy. I'm not going to lie, the lessons hurt. They hurt more than any other pain I have experienced. But I know now that I had to be pushed against these barriers and break through them myself to fully comprehend what life can be. That there is no meaning to it all, other than the meaning you create for yourself. I still struggle, every day, though most of the time manage just fine. I keep thinking to myself that I see a new world opening up before me, trying to refocus myself with a new world view and all the questions I have to face. The lies we've all been told, years and years of indoctrination and nurturing, only to find the cesspit at the end of the rainbow. It got dark for a while, and occasionally I can feel myself slipping back into the darkness now and then. I try to remind myself that this is natural and a part of trying to move forward. Like climbing a mountain, to reach that peak and look over at your own personal heaven. You have to move a few rocks along the way to find the right path. Suicide was a companion for a while, the eerie feeling of calmness that comes with having it by your side, when all else has gone to shit. I have come out of that frame of mind for now, and continue to work on myself, be selfish, and cut myself some slack too. I think for now, I'd just like to extend a massive thank you to my fellow Mgtow brothers from afar. You truly won't know how much you've helped me over the last months, and stretching into the last couple of years really now. Reading your posts Watching your videos and thoughts has been of immeasurable benefit to me, and I do really hope to repay the favour and contribute in some small way myself. In my opinion, there's nothing better than your own story resonating with another person, moving them in some untold way to better themselves. None of this having to be said, just knowing people are capable of looking out for each other. And it's very hard to forget that in the world we live in now, and especially with the degree of censorship that is coming into play where these sorts of subjects are being discussed. And I think that's why it's so important that that information is out there in some shape or form, because I know how much it helped me, and as I've said, it literally saved my life. I know when I'm having a hard day, I can come back to certain resources and whatever it may be, a particular video or just someone's story, and refocus my energy and clear out any blue pill thoughts still trying to worm their way back into my thinking. Thank you again.